Hey, it's Perry here, it's English Lifestyle. How the devil are you? Today I'm going to share what it's like to live in a shipping container. We did a video about 2 years ago when we first constructed our shipping container home, and that to date has been seen by nearly 250,000 people. So thank you to everybody who's actually took the time and watched that video, and thank you if you've also made a comment on that video. We get lots of comments and we try to reply to everyone, but the main 2, 3, 4 questions we get kind of go over and over again. So I thought I'd use this opportunity in this video to address those questions once and for all. And those 3 questions are: how much did your shipping container cost to build? And number 2, how many shipping containers are in your build? And number 3, does it get hot living in a shipping container? Well, the answers to those and many other questions are coming up right now. So how many shipping containers did you use in your build? The answer to that is actually 4. We have some previous videos that I'll link to or up here or in the description, where we showed our plans of the what we were going to do with this property. So we had 3 shipping containers that 40 feet by 20. So where I'm sat now is actually one 40-foot shipping container from this post here to this wall here. I've just hit a fan or something. And then we have an atrium in the middle, which is about a meter and a half wide. And then we have 2 other shipping containers. So they are kind of like this. Imagine my fingers are the same length. They're offset and they've got a gap in the middle. Let me put that there, you can probably see that better. So that's kind of how our shipping container is. At the end of this one, just over there, is a 20-foot on a right angle, and that's our kitchen. So we have a kitchen in there and all the white goods, etc. So that's the plan of the house, and we use 4 containers. We do have another container which we brought on site just before we brought these on site, which we use as a lockup. And that's kind of just across the way there, and we've got a kind of roof across it, extended roof, and that's like a carport basically. So we drive the car and park that under there, keep it out of the sun and the rain at the moment. And so we've got 4 containers in the house, and we've got 1 as a lockup and just a storage area and things like that. So that's what we do there. Second question is, how much did it cost? Well, that's kind of like a hard question to actually answer because we never really had a budget or kept to it. But I can tell you a few things. The garage storage container cost us 38,000 baht, which is about $1,100 or about 900 UK pounds sterling. Okay, so inexpensive large shed. Basically, very sturdy. No one's going to break into that. Okay, the 4 containers here, the 3 40-foot containers, which were made in a factory, well, they're actually recycled or upcycled containers, so they have a life before. They were modified. They had the windows cut. They were painted and then transported on a truck, and those 40-foot ones cost 200,000 baht each. Then we had one 20-foot container, if you remember rightly, again modified, windows, doors, all the cuttings, all finished, painted, looking nice. Again, that was 130,000 baht. So that in real money is, I'm not sure, but I'm sure you've got a currency converter handy on your computer right there. Have a look. So not that expensive to buy the containers, have them modified and have them shipped. To ship them here, transported here rather, on the back of trucks. We used the 220s came on one truck and the other 3 came on another truck, so we had 4 trucks in total, and the cost of each truck was 10,000 baht. So that's probably about £400, I think, off the top of my head, roughly. So again, transportation, not too bad. They were built for transport, so very easy to get transport. And we bought those from a company in Bangkok called Maha, M-A-H-A. You can do a search for them on Facebook or Google, probably turn up. There is a couple of other companies that we spoke to originally, but can't remember the names of those at the moment. But shipping containers, Thailand. If you're in Thailand, if you're in your own country, don't search that term, and you will find supplies for that kind of thing. Okay, so the rest of the house to build with, honestly don't know, but you can spend as little or as much as you really want. You can have, you know, cheap doors and windows, etc., and all that kind of thing, and pay, you know, whatever you want to pay, whatever your budget is. So you budget accordingly. We didn't really have a budget, kind of like a bit loose on the monetary front with the house. So, but we have done some modifications since. So another cost that I just thought about it is actually the footings. So we built some really big, like piers to drop the containers on. And we kind of went over the top with that, but it was a foundation basically. We didn't want anything shifting around. So we had this ground here kind of elevated a little bit and leveled. And then we had the piers built in. I think they were like a meter down, you know, with all the engineering stuff going on there. And I think we had 33 piers in the end. So at a really strong base. That enabled us to have the house maybe half a meter off the ground. We could have had it how high we wanted, but it's about half a meter off the ground, probably a little bit more, and that allows for a nice cool airflow, which I get onto airflow because that affects the heating and everything else, but just the general cost. So I think top of my head, the footings or the piers, as you like, they will probably cost us in the region of 100,000 baht up. I can't remember the price now. Windows and doors, all the labor, everything else. We had floors put in, obviously, tiles, all the walls and ceilings. They were insulated, and then walls going on the top, and ceilings put in, obviously, lighting, electric, security, all that kind of good stuff. So again, you know, we paid a reasonable amount, but off the top of my head, I honestly do not know what we paid. But I imagine we probably saw change out of £50,000 sterling. I imagine. I'm not sure. But since then we've added to it anyway, spent more. And you know, you have a house and you do add things and you get living in it and you think, well, that works, that doesn't work. So you change things around. We've recently, I'll show you later in the video. We had a whole new door and window put in the back area here. We've had a staircase going up to the deck on the top of 2 containers, because the deck we thought we'd use a lot, but it's like I don't know, 40 feet long, 2 shipping containers wide. We had it all decked up, like a grid built, and then concrete decking and a rail put round. But it was so hot to go out there most of the time, except for in the evening, looking at the stars, etc. So we decided to put a staircase up, because we used to have like a ladder going up there, like a built-in ladder. So we put a staircase in now, so it's easy access, and then we put a roof over the top, which is more overhanging. So that creates a nice space. We can sit up there now in the day. We've got some nice big cushions and things like that to chill out on, with tables and chairs, a hammock. You know, I'm probably going to get my gym bars up there as well, so I can start working out again, because I haven't worked out for a long time. So it's a nice space. It's a nice big space, and we've got lots of, you know, nice orchids around it. So we made it in a nice space where before we couldn't use it. It was too hot. So now that's really cool. So we've done all that. There, again, I think the staircase cost us about 125,000 baht. The roof, I think the roof and the stairs we got it all in about 125,000 baht, 150,000 baht. So again, not too expensive to do things over here, and it's a really good job. The most important thing about building here is finding great guys. When we did the house, we did. Okay, my SD card was full, so I just had to dump a load of media. But anyway, yeah, we've found some really good workmen since we've had the shipping container home. So any new build now, any extensions and any work we do, electrics, metal work, etc., etc., we've actually found some good guys that can do some good stuff now. Where before we were really struggling and trying to keep the quality up that we wanted. It was just a hard work job, because they a lot of people don't have the reference point of the quality we have back home in the West to what they do here. So trying to convey what we're trying to achieve is very difficult in a foreign land and a foreign language. So anyway, we persevere. We get there in the end. So we have changed quite a few things. We've put a whole new back door and windows and everything in here. We've also put a staircase in. We used to have a ladder, like a built-in ladder. Now we have a full staircase and a roof, so we can go up there in the day. So that's quite nice now, as I was saying. So things, you know, you own a house and you keep changing it. Nothing stays the same. Everything's evolving. Yeah, the actual container, just seen the prices actually. The actual containers, 4 containers plus the garage, modified, etc., was 17,000 UK pound, $23,000, 723,000 baht. But then obviously, as I said, there was labour, there was all this stuff we did inside, insulation, you know, toilet fixtures and baths and windows and doors, etc., etc., and the floor and tiles and painting, all those kind of things. So it all adds up. But I think we got changed from 50,000 UK pound pretty easily, probably 40,000 actually. So that's in Thailand. So where you are is going to be what you do, if you can turn your hand to stuff. Fortunately I can't, I'm pretty useless at DIY and construction, so I can't do pretty much anything in that respect, but you know, if you can save a fortune. And the third question we get asked a lot is, do shipping containers get hot? The answer is yes and no. We kind of thought about it a lot before we built. So this section here, you can see, which is 40 feet long, this section here, is the kind of atrium. It's like a meter and a half wide, and it's higher than the rest of the house. And for the most part, all these areas here are just mosquito screens. So they're open, they're not windows. So we get airflow coming through there. So we open the doors, we've got lots of doors and windows, let a lot of light in, but also the air circulates and heat rises and dissipates at the top. So that works pretty reasonably well. We've also, as I said before, we got the house, the containers on 33 or 23 pylons, posts. So we've got an airflow underneath the house, which keeps the floor cool, which my dog, Flexi, wherever she is, loves. So that's a nice cool floor, so again, that helps. All the walls and ceilings are insulated when we did that, even before we put the windows in, we actually noticed a remarkable change. So again, that helps. What else did we do? This container has a sloping roof on it, sloping away, catch rainwater, etc. So that's this area kind of shaded with a roof. There's like a gap in between. On the other two containers over here, we built a steel frame and then put like Viva board or a smart board on top, and then concrete, and made it into a deck. So there's no direct sun onto the container, there's a gap in the middle. So again, that kind of acts as insulation, and there's a little bit of airflow there as well. But what we've done since is actually put a sloping roof on there as well, quite recently. So that's always in the shade now. Again, we collect rainwater from that, takes it all off the house. And the same on the kitchen, there's a sloping roof on there, floats away into the back. So the containers aren't just flat containers because the water would sit on top, probably cause some problems, and then the sun just beating down there all day, it's going to make your container hot. So what we've done is, you know, we're trying to keep the airflow coming through the house, and you can Google airflow and having where you sight windows and different things. The one mistake we didn't do is in the bedroom we only have one small window because we thought without the sun coming through there it would keep it cool, but it had been ideally, thinking in hindsight again, ideal to put another window on another wall so the airflow goes from one window to the next and keeps that air circulating and cools it down. It's not too bad. We've got an air conditioning unit in there too, and we put it on some nights in the really hot season, but most times it's fine. We have a fan sometimes, things like that, so that's cool. The only thing with having this section here, again in hindsight we found out, but not having windows, just having it constantly open, we don't get any rain in because of the way we've structured it outside, but when it does rain on the roof in the atrium, just here, it's like a drum. And we've addressed that. We took that roof off and put a new one on with some insulation in there to quieten down quite a lot. But when it rains like crazy, tropical rain we get in Thailand, it's very, very loud. So that's the only issue we have. We don't watch TV, but if we did, if we're watching a movie or something like that, it makes it pretty hard. But we just go into the office or something like that and close the door and it's fine. Or in the bedroom it's fine. So, you know, it's swings and roundabouts. You can't have everything. So we try these things. In hindsight, we could have put windows there and just open and close windows, but because they're so high up, again, that's a bit of a problem. But as it is, we're quite happy with it. It's not a problem. So does it get hot in a shipping container house? No more hotter than a regular house. The only other thing is, by having this open all the time, is we can't have any aircon in here, in this big living area. So we don't have any aircon here. But again, having the windows open all the time, and we only have one fan actually in here. It's not too bad. But we've only got aircon in 2 rooms, which is the office and the bedroom. So, you know, with a bit of foresight and just thinking about things beforehand, it's not going to get too hot in your shipping container. If you live in a cold climate, again, it's keeping it warm. Be the opposite problems. But yeah, you can, you know, build that into what you're doing, and think about it wisely. You can get around it. So, other questions. Let me think of some other questions that people are asking. Okay, another question people ask is how to heat and cool a shipping container home. We kind of covered that, but there's some other ways you can look at doing that, and that is actually planting outside. So if you see our first video, I spend a lot of time with trees because we see our garden as an extension to the house. So the idea was to build like a tropical garden around this particular part of the property we have around the house. So we have pom-pom trees and some palms, lots of trees, and we've actually got everything growing up now to into the roof deck and things like that. So we have a lot more shade now. When I walk around the side of the house, it's just beautiful green walk through shaded area, really nice. So you can use nature to shade your house as well, and that'll have a cooling effect on your property too. The only other option that we haven't done is actually cladding the outside of your shipping container home. So we have just the regular shipping container metal walls outside the house, and it's painted orange. But you can actually clad the outside of the house, probably insulate, or just leave a small air pocket in between. So if you could clad the outside, say wood or something like that, again you're taking the sun directly off the container walls, and again that would keep it cool. So there's many ways to actually keep a property cool, as there's many ways to keep a conventional construction cool inside. That's another way. Check it out. How do you insulate shipping container homes? We insulated with a foam spray. So we had a company come up from Bangkok, specialist company, and they pressurized high pressure spray, like a foam spray, onto the walls. There's two kinds, if I remember rightly. One was just like a regular one, and the second one's like fire retardant. So we had the second one, just to be sure. So they did all the ceilings and all the walls, and that was that. Took like a day. Wasn't a big job. And then yeah, that was that. So yeah, insulation. The only other insulation you could do, I don't see it around here so much, is the fiberglass matting kind of stuff that you get. I've seen it a lot in the UK, using your false roofs and things like that in your houses. I've never really seen it here. So foam spray was the way to go for us, because that's nasty stuff. Putting on that sheet of whatever it is, it's very itchy and stuff like that. But anyway, so we did the foam spray, but if you can get hold of that, I'm sure you can do that just as well. Just put some 2x2 cladding, whatever you call it, I don't know the technical terms. Anyway, you can do that, put those in and slap it in between, and off you go. Be right as rain. Do shipping container homes need planning permission? In Thailand, no. In your part of the country, or a different country, possibly so. Someone wrote to me saying they was from Aberdeen in Scotland, and said they were classed as a mobile residence, so they didn't need planning permission. Different states in the US, Australia, you'd have to find out. Ask your local planning part of in the government council. Here, we just told them we was going to build a house, told them it was going to be a shipping container. They said okay, off we went and did it. It's pretty easy. Too easy. You think, what's the catch? But anyway, no catch, it's all good. Any plans for putting solar panels on the roof for electricity? Yes, we was going to do that. We was going to be totally self-reliant off the grid. That was the idea, not to rely on any government. So that was what we was going to do. So I looked into solar panels here. Now you'd think in a country that's pretty much sunny every day of the year, everywhere it'd be solar panels, but there isn't. You can get them, they're very expensive. You can't sell the electricity you generate back to the grid, obviously solar panels only have a life, a lifetime of probably about 10 years. So to do this, to have solar panels up here that was going to keep us in electricity for the fridge, light, everything we have here is very low wattage, energy efficient. So fridge lights, computers, things like that. That's kind of all we need really. water pump. Not a great deal, but that was going to cost us to put that system in the region of 300,000 baht up. And my electricity bill for this house, and I paid the bill, it's all on one bill, so I paid the bill for this house, in-laws house, and the restaurant. And even when we've got aircon going and things like that, it's between, at the lowest, quite often around about 1,000 baht. Highest I think it's been is about 1,700 baht. So that was going to take 20, 30, 40 years just to at that rate pay off and sort of pay off the solar panels. It was going to take forever. I'll be dead by then, pretty much. You know, I'll be yeah. So there was no monetary incentive to do that. You can't sell it back to the grid. So basically, whoever has the electricity here has a monopoly, and they don't want that changing. So it's ridiculous. I find it absolutely crazy that in a country with all this sun, and they don't make it advantageous for us to use that and be green. So, you know, governments say one thing, and this is all over the world. They say one thing and they do another because they want a monopoly on whatever they're doing. So no, we haven't got solar panels. I'd love to have them, and we do have the electricity go off maybe more frequently than ever in the UK for a start. We get some, you know, crazy storms hitting us, so the electricity does go off. So even a backup system still kind of doesn't really warrant the outlay. So I think we're just going to get a generator, and that'll just kick in for half an hour when the electricity goes off, just so we've got a light and fridges running, etc. So that's the way it is. Off-grid water, we are off-grid with water. We do have government water coming to the property, but we have a well. We actually built a well, sank a well, drilled a well, and we have that. And we also have numerous ongs, which are big water catchment jugs, if you like, huge vases set out in the garden. I think they're 1 Thai cubic meter of water in each. So all the roofs go to various those ongs around the property. So we collect all that water and we use that for water in the garden. We have a grey water system as well. So all the grey water from washing in the kitchen, showers, wash basin in the bathrooms, that's about it. All that goes through a grease collector and then through into a big tank, and then it overflows into another tank, and then we use that in, like actually it goes into another tank, and then we take that out and just water fruit trees. So that works really well, especially in the dry season. If we're kind of you know, watching the water a little bit, we never really have to, but it's good to use the grey water rather than the, you know, good quality clean water. Just recycle, you know. It's otherwise it's just going to go down the drain, go into a septic tank or whatever, and that's the end of it. So we get another use out of it, and everything benefits. So that's all good. So we're not completely off the grid, but we're pretty much as good as we can be here, being realistic with the prices and everything else. Love to go solar, but hey ho, we can't. And wind, having a wind turbine, looked into that too. I'm sure we could probably side one here and no one would really know because we're quite out of the way, even though, but I'm saying it on YouTube, so probably can't now. But we could get a wind turbine, and but they're illegal to generate electricity from a wind turbine, so we don't have one of those either. What would we do differently? If we had our time again, what would we do differently? If we built this house again, when we did the pilings, the posts to put the house on, we would have concreted the whole floor between the posts, so we have a nice clean concrete area underneath the house. Mainly because the bog goes underneath there, comes out. She likes it's very cool there, but it's, you know, it's just literally dirt. And if she goes out wet and then comes back out, then she comes out very dirty. Can try to get in the house, has to clean, or she hates the cleaning after the dog. It's always my dog then when the dog's dirty. So yeah, with concrete there, make it nice and clean. Also, you won't get any weeds kind of growing underneath or around the peripheral of the property. So it just makes things just a lot cleaner and easier to maintain, which are what we're all about. So we'd do that next time. We'd have a second window in the bedroom. I think I touched on that before, just so we've got more airflow. We've only got one small window at the moment. We can just reach out to a papaya tree and put papaya in, but we'd have another window on a different wall just to get a bit of more airflow. What else would we do? Maybe we'd have had windows in this atrium area, so we could just open them up and close them up when it rains, so it'd be quieter. Kind of on that, still not sure. So it's going to stay as it is. So if you do have any more questions, I think we've kind of covered the most basic questions, or the most common questions that we do get here about the shipping container home. But if you have any more questions, do leave them in the comments below. So let me now just finish this video off. I'll just show you just what we've done on the outside with the stairs and the extension onto the roof. So it's a beautiful day. Let's go outside and I'll show you the roof. So we've recently just had this new door put in, and the windows above it. It's all aluminium, so it's nice and strong and light and far better than what we had before. And I think my dog's coming. Let me just wait for the dog. While we're waiting for the dog, you coming, taxi? So these are the new stairs we just had recently put in like a month or two ago, and it goes up to our deck with the roof over it now. So let me take you up there and show you. You coming up, taxi? Come on in. So now we have a nice roof deck. So come up here, do a little bit of work or a bite to eat. Nice for breakfast. And we can chill here as well. So we've obviously, if you're a regular to this channel, you know we like our plants and trees. So we've decorated it with some orchids and some bullhorns, and then this crazy plant as well. And we get a good view over our young food forest. So again, if you look at a video from our first permaculture food forest tour, those trees were little, about 12 to 18 inches high, most of them when we put them in, very young trees. But now they're growing up quite nicely. It's been 2 years now. We're getting jackfruit and bananas and all kinds of stuff there pretty much daily. Lots of pineapples, all kinds of stuff, and that's cool. So this is where we come now. So we've got a nice roof, really nice metalwork. Found a really good guy now, a company, local company. So it's a really nice spot for us to come and chill. Can't look at the stars so much anymore, but it's a really nice place to come up and chill. What do you think, taxi? And just so you can see, our windows or the screens are here, so we have this here so we don't get any water coming in. That's never been a problem, especially now that we've got the roof on this part of the house. And you see we've got like sloping roofs on the rest of the house too. So great for catching water. We had just before I started shooting this video, actually, we had a crazy storm hit for half an hour. Some came in at about 45 degrees, so we've got a little bit of water on the roof actually today. But generally, this is nice and dry now. But that'll soon dry up. You can see it's drying up already. It doesn't last long. So yeah, so that's the house. And that's the doors from the outside. Should look very much better than they did before. So that's what it's like living in a shipping container house. As I say, if you need any more comments, let me know in the comments below. If you like the video, if you find it informative, answer some of your questions, maybe raise some more questions. Let me know. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little notification bell, so when we post more videos you'll be alerted. And we will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Okay, so I was just saying my SD card was full, so I've had to clear it out. Taxi, sit down. Sorry about that. Right. Taxi, shut up. Taxi, say hello. 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 Look at your eye. Say hello. You hot? Hot dog? You're a dirty dog. You're a dirty dog, aren't you?